Hey guys, Doc. So in today's video, this is a great time to go ahead and start something about preparation. I've been telling you guys I'm going to do a separate channel and a separate website for my preparation. I don't want to say prepper because I'm not a prepper really. I'm prepared. I've been prepared for decades. But I'm going to do a separate channel and a separate website for my preparation series. And I'm going to give you different levels of preparation. And I call it a 1-1-1 or a 2-2-2. 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, whatever you want to choose. Before I get into this video and launch this, I didn't talk about the human psychology a whole bunch, and that's what I want to talk about. You have to understand that in our society, it's really weird because in the old days, people just prepared all the time. I mean, people canned stuff. There was always cabinets full of stuff. They had weeks, if not months worth of food. We don't have that nowadays. If you go to the average American's pantry and open it up, they got enough food for a day or two, and that's it. And that's why people freak out. They have 1 or 2 rolls of toilet paper sitting and they're not prepared. So when you hear something like this, when rumors start to come up, that's when you get this panic buying. And there's a myth out there that people that are prepared, I guess you can call them preppers, you guys are the ones that are causing store shelves to be bare. No. Because what we do is we actually go out when everything is calm. I'm going to show you a video where I'm in Sam's Club early in the morning. It's what, a 90,000 square foot shelf with 8 million SKUs inside the store, and there's 10 people shopping.
Tell me you can't do a lot of preparedness here. An endless supply of toilet paper. It's not about hoarding. It's all here and no one's buying it. Aisles and aisles and aisles. But in the event something happens, this is when the crap goes away.
And I'm actually shopping. This was almost a year ago. I'm in there shopping, and it's just like there's no one here, and the shelves are just completely full all over. People that are prepared and preppers prepare before bad times. They don't empty shelves. The people that are unprepared are the ones that freak out, run to the store, buy everything, and cause panic. It's the same thing. Every time a hurricane comes, I text my family group and I say, make sure you've got flashlights charged, make sure you've got gas in your car, and make sure you've got this, this, and this. Half of them listen to me, half of them don't. But what ends up happening when a hurricane hits somewhere that impacts the fuel? All of a sudden there's rumors, or like in this last one, there's rumors that there's no gasoline. So people are running to the gas station. And like we saw when we were driving back, there's a little gas station with 150 cars lined up trying to get gas. If there's a hurricane coming, just do some basic stuff way ahead of time or during the hurricane season. Make sure you got flashlights charged up. Make sure you get gas in your cars. If you have gas cans, check your generator. All that stuff before time. The people that freak out and cause these shortages are the people that don't do what I'm talking about preparing in this video. Now, this is the start of a video. This is a full series I'm going to do, and I'm going to walk you through how if you want to just prepare for 2 weeks, you can prepare for 2 weeks. If you want to prepare for 2 months, you can prepare for 2 months. If you want to prepare for 2 years, I'll show you some simple, easy stuff. One thing that I forgot to talk about in there is I forgot to talk about this. One thing you want to have, one thing you've probably heard on the news is that there were some stores that were open, they had lanterns, but it was cash only. How many people carry cash around with them? One thing you want to put in one of these storage bins is you want to get $5 and $10 bills, not thousands, just a few $100 if you can. Stick it in there. You want to have cash. And trust me, if you don't put it in this bin, you won't have it when the time comes. So you want to have 5s and 10s, low denomination. You don't want to have a bunch of hundreds sitting in there. You just want $5 and $10 bills. Okay, so stick with me because I'm going to take some time and break some stuff down here, but I want to show these tubs. This is a 30-gallon Craftsman. This is a 50-gallon Craftsman. The 30-gallon, I love these tubs. I'll show you here in a minute because they have a snap-on top. And they also have this recess. Look at this. See how the lid recesses on here? Really like that. Nice and strong. The big 50-gallon actually has a handle and it has wheels. But once you snap it, you can also put zip ties on here to lock it closed, which is nice. Nothing's going to get that open. I'm trying to think if I can find links to these. I know you can get the 30 gallons on Amazon. I think maybe you can pick up the 50 gallons like at Lowe's or something. Gas cans. This is a big issue for long term. The video I was watching, he had a farm property and they only had about 4 gas cans. And I'm like, dude, I mean, I've got 8 gas cans, 8 of these up in my barn, and we just bought another 6 of them to store fuel. Plus, inside of our vehicles, we have, 20 gallons in each one of our vehicles, which we can drain that gas if we needed it. So just be aware of that. Fuel is real important long term, and you need a place to be able to store it. This right here, this is a complete unit. That's it. Solar powered outdoor lighting floodlight system. I installed one of these or 2 of these down at the beach house, and I'm glad I did. When we let the dogs out at night, it's pitch black, and when they go down the stairs down there, this thing kicks on, and now we have outdoor solar lights with no power. Really nice feature to have. These things are not expensive. I think you get a 2-pack for about $50, and they work great. Okay, sit my old ass on the floor here for a minute. Excuse the mess. We just got back from our vacation, and this place is a disaster, but I'm going to show you some stuff. Now, a lot of times you'll go to these prepping channels, and everyone's buying all this bulk purchase. In other words, they're buying 30, 40, 50 pounds of rice, and then they're vacuum sealing it, and they're putting in oxygen packs, and they're going through this whole process. And I think that's one of the hurdles that a lot of people that aren't prepared face. And what I'm going to tell you is I typically don't do that. I do it sometimes. Some of the stuff I do, I go to Sam's Club and I buy in bulk a little bit. But honestly, I'm going to show you a trick that works really well. And I've tested this, and I'll talk to you about my test. So this is one of the tubs, locking handle, snapping handle. One thing I don't want you to buy, there's a couple things that are real good staples. Pasta, rice, and beans. Matter of fact, and I was watching another video of a lady, she said that some of the disaster relief was coming in, and staples like rice and beans were coming in. She said, but the people didn't have any way to cook it. She said they got the stuff, but they didn't have any way to cook it. So I'm going to show you a little trick here in a second. Take off this lid. This is a cardboard container, and this is what I don't want you to buy. This is pasta. And why is that? Because air and moisture can get through this. So when you buy something like a pasta, a rice, or beans, I want you to buy it where it already comes contained in a plastic container. Now, as far as spaghetti goes, I have found Sam's Club has a big box of spaghetti, and inside of that is 6 or 8 individual plastic wrapped, much like this, plastic wrapped pastas. Now, here's the beauty about this for the average person. This is a single family serving size, let's say. So now it's wrapped up in plastic, and I'm going to take any of this kind of stuff. So I'm going to take, this is actually a little bit too big. I'm going to take a bag of rice. I'm going to take pasta. I'm going to take dry beans. These are kidney beans. They're all already in plastic. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get these contractor bags. See these things everywhere. These are really thick contractor bags. You're going to take that stuff, put it inside of a contractor bag, just squeeze the air out of it and tie it and put it inside the tub. So now inside of here, you can easily have a full week of dry good foods. Next, you can buy, don't buy glass. I prefer not to have glass. You can buy spaghetti sauce in a can. Why do I say cans? Cans are perfect for this stuff. And you don't want to, I really recommend that you don't buy a whole bunch of vegetables, just staples. That's all you're going to focus on. So this is, you can get spaghetti sauce in a can, so you can have spaghetti sauce. My favorite thing in the world, and I think one of the best prepper foods, is chili. You have meat, you have beans, you have tomatoes, you have sauce, and it's really good. And my favorite, shout out to old Dave at Wendy's chili. Now, Wendy's chili has this fresh taste that a lot of them, I don't like the other ones. Wendy's chili is absolutely fabulous. It is fabulous. And it's about $1 more than the other brands. However, there's a trick. See that box right there? I'm going to teach you about shopping smart. If you have a Sam's Club account, you don't have to go to Sam's Club. I ordered 3 cases of this and had it shipped, and it came in this morning FedEx, and you can get free shipping. So if you hit a certain level order from Sam's Club, they'll give you free shipping. I ordered 3 cases of this stuff and just put it up. This stuff is great. So, as an example, boil some pasta. Once that's done, drain it, pour in a can of chili, and man, you'll have a great chili pasta dish. Cook up some white rice. Give everyone in their family a scoop of chili on top of that white rice. Maybe I'll show you some greens. You can plant some greens. If you have some greens around, maybe throw up a little green salad. It's fantastic. So those are great. The other thing you can do is you can find these real hearty soups. Now this is not a hearty one. This is, I think, my wife's low calorie. But you can get these hearty like beef stew and all these real hearty soups. Again, white rice, put some of this on top of it or in your noodles, mix it up. It's great. Now, why do I like cans? There's a myth out there that cans go bad. Even the USDA says canned goods never expire. There is no expiration date. They last forever. Now, in a few years, are they going to taste as good? No. The quality of the food might degrade, but canned goods never go bad. Write that down and remember it. Now, you don't want to eat a can if it's dented, rusted, or when you open it, if it squirts out. Squirting out is your key to bad food, but I've never had a canned good do that. So cans never expire. Good. Very good way to go. And what I do is I try and not buy stuff like corn and beans and that. I'm going to focus on sort of an entree. Honey. I'll show you why I like honey. Honey, there's going to be, after nuclear war, there's going to be 2 things left in this world, and that's going to be cockroaches and honey. Honey basically never goes bad. It may shift in shape and the way it's made up, but you can put it in a microwave and heat it back up a couple years from now, and it'll go back to its natural state. Honey's great, especially if you don't want to store a bunch of sugar. Honey goes a long way. Peanut butter is not something that you really can store long term, so stay away from peanut butter. It only has about a six month shelf life, really. So stay away. I'd rather you, if you want something, there's something, cashews. I mean, the expiration date on this is 2026, 2 years from now. So you can still eat it 3 years from now. So something like cashews, good little protein source. Coffee. One thing I will not live without is my morning coffee. So make sure that you have a good source of coffee. Buying cans is probably the best way to go if you want to store it long term. Yes, the taste drops down after a while, but hey, it's coffee. Now I'm going to show you a little trick. So the other day I made some emergency bread. One thing that does not store well long term is flour, especially if you're not a prepper with a whole bunch of you're supposed to shrink wrap it, you're supposed to vacuum seal it, put it in an O2, keep it in your freezer. It's easier. Let me show you a trick. Bisquick. And you can get this in 3 or 4 different sizes. But Bisquick actually comes inside of a plastic bag. Remember that trick? I've already talked about it. It already comes inside of a plastic bag in the box. And the expiration date, or best if used by, is like a year on this stuff. So 2 years down the road you can still use it, which I have tried. But here's what you can do with this. Not only can you make biscuits and pancakes and that kind of stuff, but there's a 3 recipe emergency bread that I make. And it's basically, where's my yeast? Rapid rise yeast. Get this. Now you should probably vacuum seal this. Take a pack of this, a small box of this, and one of the reasons why I like small boxes, I know a lot of people buy bulk, is I cut this open, I use it, and I'm done. And about a cup of water for this one box. Mix it up, cover it over with a towel, put in warm or hot tap water if you can get it, warm water. Let it rise, and you can break off a piece of that, and you can sort of work it, and you can put olive oil in a pan, you can put Italian seasonings and fry that bread. Now that's a dinner bread, and it only rises up about this. Now it tastes like a hybrid between a bread and a biscuit. It doesn't taste like an actual bread. It tastes like a hybrid, but man, let me tell you what, if you're hungry and you haven't eaten anything in a few days, this stuff tastes great. The other thing you can do is that same recipe, you can take that now the next morning and you can put it in a Ziploc bag. Same thing, go ahead, stretch it out, throw it in a frying pan on top of a cook stove somewhere, and put sugar and cinnamon and even drizzle a little honey on top of that. Man, what a delicious breakfast treat that is. Oh my goodness. So instead of buying bags of flour and trying to figure out how to preserve it, get some Bisquick. What's the date on this one? Let me see if it has an expiration date. Yeah, we're into 2026 on this. So that's, and you know it's going to be good a year from then, so 2027. And again, a lot of people focus on bulk buying, and I say stay away from bulk buying. Look for these smaller servings like this, individual pastas, individual rice, where it's like one serving. You pull it out, you cut it, you cook it. Longer term, I like salt. I like this pink salt. I like Himalayan pink salt if you need salt. That's a longer term item, not really. But there are certain things. Canned tuna is good. This is actually canned roast beef that you can get like at Sam's Club or whatever. Tastes okay. It's not fantastic, but it's something to eat. The other thing you want to do is, I encourage people to go through their daily checklist. In other words, what do you do every day? Well, you wake up, you brush your teeth. Do you have toothpaste? I do. I have a bulk pack of toothpaste and toothbrushes. You take a shower or take a bath. So do you have soap? Yep. Bulk soap. Again, you can order this at Sam's Club. Get this at Sam's Club wherever you want. So bars of soap. Then everyone's got to go poo. So do you have toilet paper? Up here in the loft, I think I have 5 cases of toilet paper just up there alone. Plus, I love wipes. Whether it's booty wipes or dude wipes, I do vacuum seal these because I don't want them to go dry. So I love wipes. They're fantastic, especially in the summertime. My son and I are addicted to them. What else am I going to show you in here? Oil. I have, just in this tub alone, I have 2 gallons of olive oil. You're going to need something to cook in, so I have olive oil in here. It's just some basic stuff that you can just throw together in a tub, close it down, put it in a closet, and say, you know what? If we run into a situation, I know I got a tub. Now that big tub, that thing will hold 2 weeks worth of food and supplies. But I'm going to show you a trick of the other thing that everyone was starting to learn was, how do I cook? Don't forget, even if you've got gas appliances, sometimes in a devastation area, they're going to shut off the gas. So if you have a Generac generator, that thing may go down. I'm just warning you. Generac generators are not prep items, because in a worst case scenario, they're going to shut the gas off. The gas company's going to shut the gas off, the propane off, or LP or whatever it is. Let me grab this stove real quick. Okay, so on our farm property, the way I've done this for our prepper series is I think I have, I would say 8 to 10 ways of actually cooking food without normal stuff. So I can use wood. I have these jet stoves, these little jet stoves that you can just throw kindling in and cook just in a jet stove. I have a fire pit with a grill over here. I have camp stoves that run off propane. You can cook for a whole month on one of those cans of propane. But this is a little tool that everyone should have just in case. This is a small little gasoline fired cooker. So again, this uses gasoline. And where do you have gasoline? In your truck. And so what I do is I recommend you get some type of, this is just a plastic tubing, because it's hard to get out of these new gas tanks. Sometimes it's hard to get gas out of it because they have a smaller hole inside of it. So with this and with this right here, sitting in my driveway, I can cook for 2 months based on just what's in my truck. Now, the only other thing I will warn you is if you're going to put, the way that this works is you pump it first, then you go ahead and turn it on, then you light it, and what happens is this tube repressurizes this tank once it warms up, so it's a continuous burn. That's how this thing works. Works really well. But if you're going to cook something heavy on top of this, what I recommend is you put a cinder block and a cinder block, and then rest your pot on top of the cinder blocks, not on this stove, because this isn't going to be that stable, obviously. So put a cinder block and a cinder block, and then use this as your flame and put a big pot. You can put a Dutch oven, put whatever you want on there, and that's a great little outside cooker. Again, this runs on gasoline. It's fantastic. Now I also have a larger camp stove has 2 burners that runs on gasoline. I have my camp stove that runs on LP. I have 2 wood-fired turbo stoves, little portable ones that run on wood. I have just about every single way I can possibly want to cook. It's not a problem. Okay, so one simple thing too, and it's not inexpensive, I'll warn you right now, but one simple way to do this too, have some long-term storage stuff. Down to the beach house, which is not our permanent residence, this is, our farm property is our go-to place in case of an emergency. But down at the beach house, I probably have about 6 or 8 of these 30-year shelf life buckets. Now, these things are fantastic. They are absolutely delicious, and there's a large variety. Savory stroganoff, chili macaroni, pasta alfredo, creamy pasta, vegetable rotini, teriyaki and rice, cheesy lasagna, hearty tortilla soup, apple cinnamon cereal, brown sugar maple multi-grain bars, crunchy granola. I mean, these things are really good. Again, they're not cheap. I think a 1 month supply is about $250, and they go up all the way up. I think a 6 month supply, gosh, I want to say it's like $1,100. It's not cheap, but if you want an easy way, with Cheater's way, that's the way to do it. It's real quick. Let me go over it real quick. I want to touch on another extensive part of the series that we'll be doing, which is power. So recently down at the beach house, I brought down there, I have a small battery S2000 unit that you charge up and will run 120 systems. Down at the beach house, when the power first went out, I ran the coffee maker, I ran TV, internet, light, and a box fan off that little unit. Great little unit to have. It's quiet, doesn't make any noise, and on certain systems that don't require a lot of wattage, like your modem and your TV, you can run that for 6 hours. It really is great. By the way, this is my old camp stove. I just made, or a little bit earlier, I made fresh Kung Pao chicken out here. I didn't want to stink up the house. I always cook out here. One of those tanks will last me a month when I cook out here. I just want to let you know. Plus, I have a backup one of these brand new, and I have one down at the beach house that I cook on. So let's talk more about power. I'm going to show you how we're going to get a little bit complex with it. Here at the farm property, not only do I have that little battery backup system, then I go up to an Anchor 3800 unit, which is more of a mobile unit that I like to use. If I could take it up to the barn, I need to run a well up there or something. It's more portable. I list that on a page. Then I have, this is my gas generator, which is a medium-sized gas generator inside here. Plus I keep 2 fuel tanks in here as well. But here's where my system gets a little complex. Now, we had budgeted, when we redid this property, we had within our budget, we had $50,000 set aside for a full solar, which we didn't do because of the local power restrictions. So we went with an EcoFlow system. Now, this box right here, I have an interlock inside on my panel that I can shut off the main and flip over to generator, but it comes out to here. And what I can do is I can go up for a gas generator, or I can go down and I can run my big EcoFlow system. So I have the option to do either. So I can run gas or I can run my EcoFlow. Now, I have a huge 2224 cable. It's a big cable that I had run all the way across over to that cabin, which is where I keep my EcoFlow. I have solar panels currently in storage that we can either put on the roof or we can build. I'd probably rather build a ground mount system right out here because that's away from those 2 big trees and it gets full sun all day long. But because my EcoFlow is over there and I backflow to it from my generator, while at night, if I want to run my generator, I can charge my EcoFlow because you're going to have extra power. Does that make sense? So while this gas generator is running, that EcoFlow battery system can actually be charging because I have a 120 outlet running back to that house. If you don't know the story about this little cabin, this was actually delivered bare. It was just 2x4s on the inside. Let me enter my secret code here. Turn on the lights. And what we did is we spent, oh gosh, what, 2 months? 2 months sort of redoing this whole place, making it actually livable. It's a full kitchen, air conditioning, microwave, refrigerator, sink, 4K TV. It's actually really nice. Behind the sliding barn door, there's a bathroom. This down here is actually a full queen size pull-out bed. Full-size water heater behind this door. Raindrop shower, full raindrop shower. Toilet, sink, mirrors, storage. But this is my big EcoFlow system. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 batteries plus the main head. So here's what I'm trying to explain. While I have my generator running, that generator is not only powering the house, but it's powering this cabin. So now I can plug into any 120, 110, and I can charge this EcoFlow stack. The other option I have, see this wire bundle? That's actually solar. So now I can actually put up my solar panels and charge this via solar. Then if I want to, what I can do is I can plug in this generator cord here to there, into here, and now that's back powering over to the house. And so it's powering the entire house. So if I don't want to run a generator at night, if I want to be quiet, all I have to do is just use this thing. Now that big stack right there, because we do conservative use of electricity, will power that house probably for 3 days, to be honest. I can run that thing for 3 days as long as I'm conservative on my power consumption. So guys, I know this video went a little bit long, but this is the first video in the series, and 2 things. How can you get involved and what subjects are we going to cover? Number 1, you can get involved by dropping a comment down below and asking a question or saying, hey doc, I really would like you to cover this. Maybe it's communications. What are you using for communications? What about personal defense? What are you using for firearms? What about safety? What about cameras? What about your backup power? Tell me about your generators. What size generator? Whatever it is, go ahead and ask that question down below and say, hey, cover this. And I will read all those comments. I may not be able to respond, but eventually I will read them all. Next, what subjects? We're going to cover just about everything. Anything that you could possibly think about. Trust me, I've done this for decades. In the past few months, I've gone through my checklist and say, okay, what holes am I missing? I have some holes. I need to plug those holes. What about anything you could possibly think about? I've gone through and plugged that hole, and so I'm going to answer those questions for you. I plan to do one of these videos a week. That's my goal, is to take on one subject a week all the way through to help you guys out. I'll still be doing some updates. I'll still be doing some lawn stuff. I got to do my stink bug video because stink bugs are coming out. I got to do regular stuff, but once a week I plan to do one of these preparation videos. Please make sure you're subscribed, and please give it a thumbs up and turn your notifications on, and that's about it. Say a little prayer for those people that are still affected by the storm, man, because they're messed up. I'll talk to you later. Doc.